Podcast City Network. You're listening to The Everett Lee Show.
Welcome, everyone, to The Everett Lee Show. I'm The Everett Lee. I want to give a quick shout out to everyone who follows me on social media and, of course, Podcast City Network, the official host of The Everett Lee Show. Tonight on the program, I have a multi-talented guest on tonight on the Everett Lee Show. He's wrestled in many promotions throughout Japan, Mexico, and he's been on TV in appearances on TV shows. And he's also a hip-hop recording artist as well, with a couple albums out. Probably 3, I don't know, but we'll get into that here tonight on the Everett Lee Show. I want to welcome to the program tonight none other than Man Kru. How you doing there?
Doing really well, man. How are you doing?
I'm great, man. I am great. Just trying to get by with this COVID-19. I mean, just trying to take one day at a time to make sure nothing happens. But I'm.
Was your food stamps come in or something?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Hey. Actually, I mean that's. I can laugh about it because I never thought I would ever have to apply for something like that, because I did get furloughed from my job along with 3 others. Mm. I pretty much got furloughed.
Yeah, man.
And
that blows. Yeah, my dad got furloughed. Like, everybody's screwed right now. I'm on food stamps. I'm the food stamp champ, motherfucker. I'm just kidding.
But I never thought in a million years I would have to do something like that. You know, never.
Yeah, man. None of us did.
Yeah, this just came up on us, and we're just having to deal with this the best we can. And I know you're halfway across the world there from where I'm at right now. It's like what 1 o'clock right now where you're at.
It's 11:07 a.m. at the moment here.
Oh wow! In Guam. That's amazing. You're the second guest I've had on that I've talked to halfway across the world, around the world. Last year I had a recording hip hop artist from Australia on named Muggsy, and I was talking to him 9 o'clock here at night, but it was the following day or the day before over in his country around 1 o'clock. Which is crazy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the time zone difference is kind of weird because it's actually Tuesday here. It's Monday night there, but it's Tuesday morning here.
The time difference, you would never think of anything like, it would be like that around the world. You always thought the world was growing up it was like just your backyard,
Dude, we're time traveling right now. I'm talking to a dude that's yesterday. I'm just kidding.
That's amazing. I like that.
I'm just stoned, bro.
It's all good. It's all good. A lot of people, I'd say, with everything going on, they're pretty much stoned, or they got a drink in their hand. Why would you?
Man.
Yeah. Why would you not?
You see him on Facebook, dude? Oh my God, everybody's nasty now. Shit.
I know. It's some crazy shit that's been going on. It's just some crazy stuff that you see just happening,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much just some crazy shit. But as long as, we're doing fine. Just staying at home, just putting out content, and I'm sure you've been busy. What have you been doing with your time?
I've been making beats for my next album, and I'm in the writing phase of writing lyrics and stuff for it. Yeah, what sucks, man? I just put out a new album just a few months ago, and then this COVID-19 shit started, and now it's like, man, I can't promote my album. I can't do nothing. Like, nobody knows about it. Nobody gives a shit about it. Like, I sold 20,000 copies of my last album. This one I only sold like 200 copies.
Damn.
So it's like, wow. Like, yeah, I invested a lot into my new album because I got like famous rappers on it and shit. So it sucks. I took a hit on that one.
Yeah. But
I'm just picking myself up, dusting myself off, and just gonna keep making music.
that's all you can do, man. That's all you can do. I know a lot of artists, they've had this time to actually record stuff. I was hearing something about Metallica. They've already got like a new album already like wrote and ready to record. So a lot of artists is taking that time to actually, be creative and take the time to put something together that's, with their art.
Oh yeah, man. You know what I think is awesome is like I see it all everywhere. Like people who like normally don't do anything creative are doing creative things.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, like knitting and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like people have more time on their hands to do the stuff that they forgot that they enjoyed doing.
Yeah, that's
really.
Yeah, that's true. I agree because I've been able to go back and watch wrestling that I've not really had time to sit down and watch. Like here in the last couple of weeks, I've been talking with a lot of talent from up in Hamilton, Ohio, from FGW, Future Great Wrestling, and they got a show they put on their YouTube channel, Future Great Wrestling. It's called FGW Shockwave. So I've had time to go back and watch that because I've gotten myself away from 2 months of not watching WWE. Now, last night I did watch most of what I did with the Money in the Bank just to watch it. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what's going on? I have not watched this product in 2 months. What the fuck, man?
Dude, it's brutal. It is brutal. Like, I watch all of it, like the AEW, the WWE. Like I'm subscribed to their YouTube channel, so like I watch the clips they produce, and I'm like, wow, this is sad. It's like you're doing this because of a TV contract. Like, oh my god, nobody's gonna ever come watch wrestling again. Yeah. Well, AEW is not so bad. Their guys are really like busting their asses and doing a good job, but the WWE stuff is just because they rely on too many writers and stuff and people like trying to come up with stuff, and they're just coming up with whack shit left and right, man. You know?
Yeah.
It's already bad enough you don't have an audience, which is the core component of pro wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
You know what I mean? So...
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is because it's just hard not having that fan reaction there because it's something you get used to. But if you notice, you can tell the difference between a worker that's worked a lot and came from the independent wrestling scene compared to a worker that was put fresh into their performance center and trained there and then put out on NXT and eventually Raw or SmackDown, and you can tell how they work, can't you?
Oh yeah. Well, when I watch it now, man, I'm like, damn, I'm glad I don't work for these motherfuckers. Like, I wouldn't want to be that Otis. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be Drew McIntyre right now or Braun Strowman right now. I wouldn't want to be any of those guys right now. Like, because they're the face of this shit right now. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know. I've always used. I'm not like a real politically correct person. I'm kind of like the Ultimate Warrior, where I just like talk shit and don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like. This shit's gay as fuck, bro. Like, it really is. Like, let's just be real about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm probably never gonna wrestle again, man. Honestly, Like, I was supposed to go back to Japan this year.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's happening now because all the wrestling in Japan is done, except for like a few like small little indies that are just like, fuck it, let's run wrestling anyway because we ain't got nothing better to do.
Right. Yeah, they pretty much just shut their shit down until things get ahead there, haven't they?
Oh yeah, man, they're all screwed up in Japan right now. But they're doing things. They're still paying guys though, and they're still taking care of their office people. You know, so they're losing money. They're leaking money like a woman on her period. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, that's that's pretty. I know what you mean there. I definitely know what you mean. And speaking of wrestling in Japan, you've wrestled quite a bit and a lot of promotions over in Japan and Mexico. But when did you first start watching wrestling? What was your first exposure to wrestling?
I was 7 years old. What was I? I was in first grade. What was I? 6 years old. And I was at a babysitter's house, and there was other kids there, and they had a Nintendo there, an old NES, and I wanted to play Super Mario Brothers, and they were watching WrestleMania. I was like, man, this shit's gay as fuck. I want to play Nintendo. And like, that's really what I thought, man. Like, I was like, man, this shit's whack. Like, I don't watch this bullshit. And then I couldn't take my eyes off of it.
Yeah. It hooked you.
Yeah, man. It did, man. It was one of the WrestleManias. I can't remember. I think it was 5 or 6. I can't remember which one it was. I was 6 or 7 years old. And, yeah, man. After that, I had the seed planted in me, like, about wrestling. And I was at a bowling alley, and I played the WWE Superstars arcade game. And that's actually what made me start watching it. And I started watching it around, like, late 94, early 95, right when Bob Backlund, like, won a title from Bret Hart, when his mom threw in the towel. That's around the time I really started watching it for real.
Uh-huh.
You know, like, tuning in every week to watch the shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my favorite wrestlers at that time were Bam Bam Bigelow, Jerry the King Lawler, Sid Vicious, and Diesel, Big Daddy Cool Diesel, and Razor Ramon. Those were my 5 favorite wrestlers at that time. And then I started watching WCW, and then I found out about ECW, and then I found out about Japan and Mexico, and I started trading tapes with this guy named Sam Farmer, who's a worker. And when I was a teenager, I met him at an indie show. I was like 14 when I met him. And then I talked to him online and traded tapes with him. And when he sent me the Japanese deathmatch stuff, man, I was hooked. I was like, dude, I'm going to do this shit one day. This is awesome. Right? And that my goal was just to make it to Japan. That's what I wanted to do, man. I just wanted to work in Japan. I was like, man, this shit's dope. The wrestling fans treat the wrestlers like with respect. They're like all quiet and shit unless they really like something. And they're really, they're really nice. They're some of the best wrestling fans in the world, man. It's insane. It is weird how I can go to the United States and, like, I'll be at an indie show where there's, like, 700 people and like, maybe only, like, 2 or 3 people walk up to me and ask me for, like, to sign something or take a picture. But, like, I'll be walking from the train station to the venue, and there's people lined up all the way to the fucking train station asking me to take pictures with them and sign shit, dude. It's weird, bro.
Damn. That is different, ain't it? From experiencing something like that from wrestling over in another country there, and how you're established there, and then going to another country, and then it's like I had a friend of mine last year, or almost a couple years ago, he ran into who the hell was he? He wrestled in New Japan. He was here in Daytona Beach for an event that New Japan did with the CEO Gaming. They streamed it on Twitch and stuff. That's right before AEW did the Fighter Fest they had. That was here in Daytona. And it was NATO. NATO was here. So he went to a gym a friend of mine was at, and he sent me a picture, and he said, "You know who this guy is?" And I said, "Dude, that's NATO." I was like, "He is big in Japan." He said he looked like a wrestler. He said he walked over to him, and he was like, "Hey, what's up?" And he was like, "You know who I am?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he was just bullshitting with him. But he said what English he can talk and understand. He said he was a pretty cool guy, and he asked him. He said, "It's different over here than where you're at." And he goes, "Oh yeah." He said, "Yeah." He said, "No one know who I am." And he said, "Over there, they all know who I am." And I was like, and he was like, "Yeah." And when he sent me that picture, I was like, "Yeah." I was like, that guy is big over there. I was like, that's pretty cool. You got to meet him. But that is crazy. How now when something like that, when you start to establish your name over there in Japan, it's something like that. When it started happening like that, how the hell did you take it at first? I mean, what was your reaction to that?
So I didn't really realize how over I was until the next year.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I went, it was in 2012. I did 3 tours in 2012. And then I took 6 months off or something like that, and was working a little indies in the United States for a minute. And then in 2013, that summer, I went back to do the Freedom's Pain and Limit Deathmatch tournament for the second year in a row. And when I got there, I got the loudest reaction besides one other guy, Jun Kasai, who's like the most over deathmatch wrestler in Japan.
Damn.
And me and his reaction were equal whenever I came, because they do a ceremony before the tournament where everybody comes out to the ring. And
right.
They do a little ceremony. And when everybody's coming out, they were chanting my name, and they were chanting Jun Kasai's name, and that's the only names they chanted.
Wow. That's amazing. I mean, it makes you think there for a minute. It's like just so taken in that moment right there. I know that was something right there for you. Yeah,
it was. And then when I talked to Takashi Sasaki, who runs Freedoms, and he wanted to work me in the barbed wire board death match, and he wanted me to put him over. I was like, that's fine, but let's do something to where it doesn't take nothing away from me. So I came up with the whole finish of, I borrowed from the Stone Cold versus Bret Hart, WrestleMania 13, when he passed out from the blood loss. I was like, dude, how about this? You put the board in my face, and you kick the board in my face, and then you put me in a sharpshooter on the barbed wire board. And then when I'm trying to push up and get out of the hold, all the blood will rush to all the puncture wounds on my body and the blade job I did on my head.
Uh-huh.
And from the angle on the video, you can't see it real well, but one of my fans came to me, she was like, blood was just squirting out of your chest. It was hardcore. I was like, damn. And so they bought it that and that guy Takashi Sasaki, he was actually a little bit jealous that I was over. And that's why he wanted to job me out to himself at my expense. He wanted to go over, and because he saw how over I was, he's like, well, if I beat this dude, then maybe I'll get over.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I kind of had a feeling, yeah, this dude's trying to jerk the rug out from under me, because they pushed me real strong the year before. I was tagging with Jun Kasai and wrestling the Great Sasuke and like a lot of FMW guys in some pretty badass matches. And that Jun Kasai guy, I think he's the one to help get me over by tagging with him.
Right.
And so I came up with that finish with the old pass out from the blood loss referee stoppage. And when they purposely on the video faded out as soon as the bell rings and they announced him as a winner, because they were chanting my name when I'm laying there lifeless.
Damn. Yeah, because I watched. You sent me the video, but I went ahead and watched it again, man. Damn. I loved the match with the barbed wire, and just, you know, I love how the matches that I've watched of you, how I love you trash talking. I love how you trash talk in the ring, and you had barbed wire up on his head. You're like, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker. Everyone's like, you get a reaction there. I loved it, man. You're like, I'm gonna kill him, and you're like, come on. You know, I loved your presence in the ring, man. You in a way, you did kind of remind a way of Stone Cold Steve Austin. You do. You came off to me as Stone Cold, but just how your style is in the ring. Where did you adapt your style from? I mean, who inspired you for your style?
Owen Hart, Bam Bam Bigelow, Mick Foley, Stone Cold.
What?
A lot of them, man. I borrow a little bit from everybody, man. Dr. D, David Schultz, I borrow from him. I borrow from Terry Funk. I borrow from a little bit of all the dudes that I seen something that I was like, wow, that's pretty dope. I'm going to, borrow a little something from this guy and make it my own. And that's basically, I'm just like a mutt-ass mix of all these dudes that I'm a mark for, basically.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being a mark, man. We're all marks for something, man. Out in this world here in our life, we're a mark for something. We definitely are. Right? Nothing. Oh yeah. Nothing wrong with that. There. I did watch when you went up against. I'm probably my Japanese is terrible. You came to the ring with Renee Lee or Rena Lee. You went up against Renee.
Yeah.
Hyena or Hyena?
Yeah. Hyena, yeah.
Hyena.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That dude's dumb as fuck, bro. He fucked it up. I was supposed to be a heel with a hot fucking Korean model at my side, like making all kind of innuendos that we're banging or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, because I was using that to get heat. I was like, these Koreans, they're racist little motherfuckers. They won't like it if I'm banging one of their bitches. So I paid this model $100 to come to the ring with me.
She looked pretty good, man.
Oh, she was hot, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Me and her were pretty good friends for a little bit. So, I tried to bang her. No, I'm just kidding.
But she played a factor in that match there. I liked how she got involved and with what she did there. I thought that was really great there because
she had no training. She listened really well to my instructions, and she messed up a little bit, but we covered it up. And fucking Hyena, that dude, I was trying to help him in his wrestling company. His promotion is just like a bunch of fucking wrestling fanboys that have never made money in their life in the business, except one guy. He went to Japan because he was good. And they were drawing 10 people per show with a free admission. And I was like, dude, nobody's going to see the value in this if you don't charge money. And I was like, this is a business, bro. You got to pay me. Like, I don't care if it's only $5. If in order for me to justify calling myself a professional, you got to pay me, man. Like, I told this guy. So he paid me like $10, like whatever. And I was like, that's fine, man. I'm just trying to help these guys. Because I tried to help them turn shit around for their career. Because I hated the fact that Korean pro wrestling sucked and nobody gave a shit about it in Korea. Like, they're like MMA and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
in Japan, it's kind of weird because they like everything. But I went there and I was like, okay, dude, this is my first match for you, man. So I need to go over. If I'm working you, you need to put me over tonight in a dirty way, like where I can get some heat, and that way next time we work, they want to see you kick my ass. But
right.
he wanted to go over on me so fucking bad. I was just like, all right, dude, fuck it. I'll just do whatever you say, because every idea I was telling him, he was just like, he balked at every fucking thing I was telling him. And then like he's in the ring with me before the show like a fucking mark, like trying to go over the whole match, and he's like, I'm gonna do this to you and do that to you. I was like, no, you're not.
Yeah, I did like the trash talking in there. You looked at him and he said, I don't understand a fucking word you're saying, man. And you're like you're on steroids. Well, I'm on steroids, but no, not really.
No, actually, I was taking anabolic steroids for quite a few years. Like it started in 2012 when I first got booked in Japan. I was so scared to death that I was going to go over there and suck. Because I had started getting injuries, and my doctor told me like the year before that I should retire. After like my 11th year in the business, I'm being told I need to retire. So I just said, fuck it, I'm gonna start taking steroids and see if I can run myself into the ground. and so I started taking roids, and that's how I started getting really big and fat, man. Because like once I stop taking them, dude, like you get like estrogen problems and shit, and you get titties. I always had titties because I was an ADD kid, and I took a ADD medicine called Ritalin that gives you bitch tits. So I've always had bitch tits since I was a kid. But like I'm talking about like when I first came off of steroids, I'm talking about I had fucking D cups, bro.
Damn.
They went away like after about a month or so, but it was bad, man.
I've never heard of that before. That it does that to you. I mean, I know like health problems. I mean, it depending the person, it gives some kind of like problem, with their health or something, but I never heard of that before, man. Damn.
Yeah, bro. It's well, it messes with your libido, it shrinks your nuts a little bit. My balls were like oversized anyway, so they needed to shrink a little bit. They could take it. So I'm all right now. I'm perfectly fine. My libido's fine.
That's good.
I dicks them down now.
Damn, that's crazy. But yeah, I get it. You had to do what you had to do, because I mean, you did get over with the Japanese audience there. And was it 2012 you won the Voviman Japanese Championship? Am I saying that correctly?
The first ever Vovinam Japan Championship. Yeah, it's a martial. Vovinam Viet Vo Dao is a Japanese martial. I mean, it's a Vietnamese martial art that my sensei Fugo Yumeji, he went over to Vietnam and studied it and became the first ever Japanese Vovinam sensei. So I happened to train with him in the infancy of his school, and I trained for about 5 or 6 months with him, and then I was in the Vovinam Championship, and I got 3rd place. And there was people training way before me when I first came in, but yeah, it was pretty cool to be a part of that. Now Vovinam Japan's huge, man. Like back then, it wasn't that big,
right?
But to be able to say that I was a part of the first one and I got 3rd place in it, it's pretty dope, I think. I mean,
That's amazing. You pretty much looking at your resume here. You've let me switch over here. You've had Taekwondo. You've done Dragon Kimpo. You've
in submission and kickboxing.
Yeah.
With Jerry Poe.
Yeah.
And that was when I was in my early 20s. I went to Lima, Ohio, and I trained in the MMA because they had a wrestling ring in there, and I was in there like messing around in the ring. And he was like, "Hey, man, you want to train with me?" I was like, "Yeah, you're free to join my classes." And so I just joined his MMA classes. They didn't charge me nothing, and it's pretty cool. And then when I was a kid, I took Taekwondo for a little while, and I didn't get very far in it because my dad, at the time he was kind of a douchebag. He didn't want to pay for it anymore. So
right,
because I was picking fights with people at school and kicking motherfuckers in the head at school and all kind of weird shit. So he stopped paying for that. So yeah.
So that pretty much was the end of that. There, just right down the from my house here, just not even like 5 minutes. There's this place that when I was growing up, it used to be like a laundromat, and then it went out of business, and then who would ever think of a laundromat going out of business? But this one did. But
wow.
But the space there, stuff has come and gone, and the last thing that was put in there was I can't even say it. It's Korean self-defense. Kaipai. I'm probably saying it wrong there. It starts with a K. My language skills suck, man. It's Kindopo, or not Kindopo. It's the opposite of that. It's more self-defense. If someone comes at you, you basically, everything is, you can take them down. Just different ways to take down your attacker, or it's more defensive martial arts. I can't think of the name of it there, but they had a place right down the road from me, and like twice a week, or about 3 times a week, it'd be open there, and I'd drive by, and you see like people in there just taking it and just doing the classes and stuff. But here in the last 2 or 3 months, it's shut down. Haven't seen nothing out of that place, man. It's dead.
Yeah, man. It's like that here, too. I mean, laundromat's open, but there's like a lot of businesses shut down. Then there's like for rent signs and shit out in front of them. Like, wow, already? Who would think a massage parlor would go out of business?
Yeah. That's like the other day I was listening to Jim Cornette. I was sitting there I was in the kitchen there, and I threw on Jim Cornette, listened to his latest podcast, and he was talking about the massage parlors. He said they got to change stuff now. You go into a massage parlor, they're afraid to touch you, so they got to give you a massage 6 feet from you with stretch arms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's funny.
Yeah, I was sitting there dying laughing over hearing that, man.
Dude, I was in a convenience store the other night, man, and everybody's like tripping about social distancing. I was like, well, shit. I mean, even if you're 6 feet away from me, you're still 5 feet away from my dick.
That's great. I can't believe, I don't know if you heard or read or seen anything about this. Gold's Gym, man, bankruptcy. That's
really
nuts,
good,
man.
Good. Those motherfuckers, the Japan Gold's Gym, those motherfuckers wouldn't let me train because I have tattoos.
Really?
And I was like, dude, I'm a member of Gold's Gym. I can go to any fucking Gold's Gym in the world. And they're like, no, you have tattoos. You can't come in here. I was like, all right, well, I hope you motherfuckers rot in hell and die of gonorrhea. Because this shit's bullshit. I'm a pro wrestler. I gotta look good. I'm getting over. You don't understand. I'm getting the breaks. I'm getting the money. I'm getting everything. I gotta look better so I can get bigger opportunities. I was trying to tell the manager, like, look, dude, I'm not a fucking yakuza. I have tattoos because I'm a pro wrestler and I need to look imposing. And they still wouldn't let me train, so I'm like, shit. All right. And I never went to a Gold's Gym ever again after that. Ever. I was like, fuck Gold's Gym.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Being over on that part of the world there, when you first got there and just, looking at everything and it's like, wow, being over this part of the world. It's just when I know, do you even get it nowadays, or was it more back then? Just because, walking down the street, you would stick out like a sore thumb, and it's just, people kind of look, or do they, try anything, or what? How is that? How's the interaction with people over there?
In Japan? Man, it is so awesome. People are cool. Well, like one night, like I was walking down the street going to the grocery store, and there was like a group of like 12 or 15 kids, like a big fucking huge gang of them, standing right outside a train station for some reason. And they all ran up to me and they're like, "One Man Kru, one Man Kru." And they're just like, and I still get that even here on Guam. I'll be walking through the neighborhood, just going to the mall to watch a movie or something, because I there's a shopping center that's like a mile down the road from me, so I just walk down there, and they'll be like, "Oh man, Kru!" There'll be kids playing football in the yard, and then they all run up and huddle around me. They're like, "Bust a rap for us!" And
that's neat.
Yeah, man, and like when I was in Korea, like there was a bunch of teenage girls outside this hotel on a bus, and they were screaming like the fucking Beatles, dude, like at me, just because I was walking by.
No way.
It was fucking weird, dude. Yeah, because of in Korea, I'm known for my music there, not wrestling.
Okay.
Like, even though I was a champion, like the first foreign Incheon champion in Korean pro wrestling history, it's just a work. It's just a gimmick. Like, I don't give a shit about that. Like, what I end up doing was selling, like, a few thousand copies of my album and being on, like, the top, like those shows like American Idol and all that shit. They got one called Show Me the Money, which is a rap show.
Right.
And because I was on that show and all this shit, and everybody knew me, like, when I was there, because I was like the only white motherfucker there. So like people really like started to really know me, like, from my music there. And in Japan, I had a falling out with my sensei at one point, and I started just hustling like a motherfucker, doing shows, doing hip-hop shows, booking my own hip-hop shows, selling albums. I almost signed with Avex Group, which is like the second biggest entertainment company in Japan besides Sony.
Right.
And, but I wouldn't sell my solo, basically, so that's why I didn't get signed. And there's a whole long story about that, dude. It's some crazy shit, bro. It's really, really weird, like some satanic shit, dude. It's insane. Like, I'm not kidding you.
Really? Is it?
Yeah, man.
Record labels, I have a friend who's that I know of that has a band, and they've been together for quite a few years, and all their albums they've released independently, as just through what they had to do to do like GoFundMe's and Kickstarters to raise money to put albums out and go on tour and promote the album and stuff. They did it all themselves. Now they did. A couple years ago, they did sign with a label, but when they got the contract, he made sure he went through the whole contract and read everything and negotiated and had this changed and that changed and everything, and that basically suited him and the band and everything that he has. And they signed and they did, I think, an album or 2-album deal. But my friend of mine that runs Podcasting Network with me, he's known him since high school. So when the album was about to come out, hey man, let's get you on, do an interview and talk and stuff. Well, that record label sent him stuff. It's like, oh, you got to pay this, you got to sign that. So he's like, really? So he calls him up. He's like, hey man, your label's sending me all this shit I have to do. And he's like, send it to me. And he looked at it and he's like, they need to go over their contract, because in the contract I control what I do with the media. And so he, and then some other shit that happened, I don't know exactly what, but then he said, fuck it, I'm done. I'm going back and I'm independently producing music that way because I'm better off that way. And it is. It's,
oh yeah. Yeah.
It's much better. It's almost like,
dude, I made over $200,000 off my last album independently by myself. Nobody helping me.
Yeah. And who got that $2,000? You did.
200,000.
Oh, 200. Oh, 200,000.
Yeah, I made $200,000 off my last album.
Damn. Congratulations, man. That's amazing. That's good.
Thank
and you did it.
That's a conservative estimate.
That's just an estimate. 200,000.
That's a conservative estimate. It's probably more like $250,000. But yeah, but I lost track of like how much I made. I know I sold at least 20,000 copies.
Okay.
And depending on what country I was in, I was selling for $10 or $20. So
right.
As a conservative estimate, I just kind of round it down low to 10. So I say 200,000.
Okay.
But yeah, it's actually more than that.
Well, you did it independently. You had no one to answer except for yourself, right? Yeah.
That's the beauty of it, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have no boss. Like, I've always been that way, man. I've always been a type of motherfucker that I don't give a fuck if somebody fires me or not, dude. Like,
right.
I've never needed anybody, like any job, like from anybody else, man. I've always been a hustling son of a gun. Like, I've always sold I got wrestling DVDs, I got albums, I've got whatever the fuck I can sell, I'll sell it. Drugs, whatever the fuck.
Right. That's how I hate to say it. That's how you roll. And that's who you are. That's what you do. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's who you are and just what you have to do. Since we're talking about music, we're talking about music. Have you always been into hip hop, or has that been your main music, or was like any other musical influences that you like too?
Oh, dude, I love a lot of old school stuff. Like, I get a lot of inspiration from other genres. I listen to Megadeth a lot, and like old 80s pop and 90s music, and I get a lot of inspiration from heavy metal music in my rap.
Really?
Not my actual rap, like the lyrics or the flow, but the beats that I make my own beats now. And well, I've been making beats since 2004, but I sucked for a while. I didn't believe in like my skill level, so I started paying like real producers, like platinum and gold and fucking top Billboard chart producers. I start paying them to make my beats for me. And so my last album, the one I sold 20,000 copies of, that one's produced by Sam Peezy, who's like a top Billboard like gospel producer of all things.
Really?
And he made my rap beats. Yeah, man. And yeah, and he's like a very eclectic producer. He can make different genres. He makes hip hop, he makes jazz, he makes anything, R&B, anything. And so that, and then before him though, I was working with a couple of Insane Clown Posse's producers on like a little EP project. I had bought like 6 beats off of 2 ICP's producers, and I made a little 4-song EP out of it because 2 of the beats I didn't like. I was like, I should just not use these, even though I paid for them.
Right.
So I put a little 4-song EP out and sold. I went out to California and did a show and sold like a few hundred copies of it out there. But then, but nowadays, man, like I'm so like good at what I do with the music. It's insane. Like I cannot believe, like there's beats I listen to that I'm working on that like I'm like crying happy tears and shit. Like, golly, I can't believe I made something this dope. Like nobody else has this shit but me. Only I have this because I made this. Like it's weird.
Because it came from the heart, man. It came from the heart. You inspired. What inspires you? You take that. It's you take whatever inspires you, and you take it and you mold it into whatever comes out. And usually it's good, or usually it's not. And then some things work, some things don't. But if you're like really feeling it, it's like it's coming from the heart, man. And so if it feels right to you, then it's right. I don't know if you ever heard that. If you trust your gut, and if if your gut tells you no, then it's no. But if it's good, it's good. And if you feel it, then you feel it, man.
Oh, I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it. It's in there. It comes out of me, man. And then, like, it's weird when I write my raps. It's like the hand of God is like touching my brain when I'm writing my actual lyrics. It's weird, man. Like, there are songs that like I can't even remember writing them at all, and
it just flows, don't it?
Yeah, it just starts coming out of me when I try to put stuff together like a puzzle at first. When I try to like write, I'm trying to match these flow patterns and put some words to it, and then once I come up with like the first 2 bars, then all of a sudden it just comes out of me. Like I just start writing, and then I'll go over it and fix a few things and make something sound better, like flow wise. Yeah, man. It's pretty dope. I love being an artist, man. It's fun. It really is.
Today I dusted off my 4-string bass, and I pulled up some sheet tabs to a song, and I was sitting there, I'm like playing, and I'm like, damn, this bass sounds so terrible. And then I had to tune it, and I was like, how the fuck do I tune this thing? Because it's been forever since I played. So I had to go on, and I had to, oh, that's how you tune it. Okay. And so I hooked it up, and I just started plucking around on it there for about an hour, and I was like, this is great. This feels good. I haven't done this forever. So I messed around with that, and I put it back. But back when I was a teenager, me and my friends, we got together. We wanted to be the next band right here I'm wearing, and we didn't go far. We played. I played guitar and screamed, and my cousin played drums. She played drums, and then her boyfriend played guitar, and we had a couple bass players, and then we didn't get far, man. I'll tell you how far we got. Just to the garage doors, and that's about it.
You know, man, the thing about bands, man, is like everybody's dependent on everybody else. You know what I mean? On somebody else in there. You know, you're dependent. If you're a 4-piece band, you're dependent on 3 other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. If one of them can't do it, then you're fucked.
Right.
You know what I mean? Unless you can get somebody else. But that's the beauty of being a solo artist, is I don't have to depend on nobody, man. Like, my brother, he's a really good guitar player. His name's Nick Sanders. He's really badass, man. And he's never gotten anywhere with it because he thinks that he needs to have a band. And I'm like, dude, you could just record an album by yourself and then hire dudes to play this shit for you live. Like,
yeah,
that's what G.G. Allen did.
Yeah, I've heard of people doing that before. I've heard of
you know who G.G. Allen is?
I've heard of.
He's a punk rocker that used to like go on stage naked and throw shit at people and try to rape people and fight people, and there's all kind of weird shit on stage. And he would record his albums with other musicians, with his core guys, and then he would just hop on a Greyhound or whatever with his brother, and they would hire different musicians in the different towns they were booked at to play the songs, like the drums and all that. So
okay, yeah.
So I told my brother, I was like, you could do it like that, man. You could just I told him I could produce the shit for you, and then you could just hire a band to play the shit live. But, you know, he's doing his thing right now. He's got a nice little girlfriend named Erica, and she's pretty cool.
That's cool. I mean,
anyway,
yeah, I like that.
But yeah, he's an electrician, and so my brother's an electrician, and he's dealing with some stuff in his life, but he's so good at what he does. Like, that's why I'm surprised he hasn't made it anywhere. He's like a Dave Mustaine type dude, you know, on the guitar. Or like a Dimebag Darrell or something, dude. He's that good, man. And anyway, I'll get off that right now. I don't want to talk about my brother no more.
Okay.
I don't want to put him over. I don't want to put him over no more.
He's
have to rib him when I talk to him next.
He's your family. He's your family, man. I mean, I have
dude,
6.
My brother's so fucking awesome, man. Let me tell you something about him, man. He remember you said you heard the story when this Barber Beefcake, when I tagged with him against Butterbean?
Yeah,
where
that story there.
Like before we talked on here. Yeah, the story where I don't want to. Maybe I should retell the whole story. But anyway, so I'll just retell the story because of what I want to put my brother over on that never made it to TV, and I was pissed. So, yeah, Butterbean and I, we put this show together called The Battle Against Drugs for, you know, raise money for the DARE program or whatever. And he was filming simultaneously a reality show where he's like busting people for dope, like as a sheriff in his county he lives in. And so me and Brutus, me and my brother were staying at this motel the night before, and Brutus was staying underneath our room. My brother was standing out on the balcony smoking a cigarette, and he's like, "Hey, man." Brutus was dropped off from the bar. Butterbean dropped him off from the bar because he was trying to get some tail or whatever. And he says, "Hey, brother, you smoke?" And my bro says, "Yeah, man, you want a cigarette?" And Brutus looks at me and goes, "Nah, weed." so we're like, "Yeah, man, come on up." So we're sitting there like chiefing out with him, playing Black Ops on PlayStation 3, and I'm like trying to relate to him and stuff. And I told him, I was like, man, excuse me, I just belched. I said, you know, this guy Butterbean's tagging with tomorrow, he's a cop. He's not a worker. He's never worked a match in his life. He's like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me. Never worked a match in his life?" I said, "Nah, man. We're going to have to give him a crash course and teach him how to sell." He's like, "You can't teach a guy how to sell in a day. I got news for you, brother. I'll make him fucking sell." And so the next day, like, we're at the assembly where I'm wrestling like one of the fake Doink the Clowns, and then afterwards Brutus is like talking to the high school kids about staying away from drugs and all that. So don't smoke weed and don't do coke and don't do this and don't do that because it's gonna ruin your life and all this. And then like as soon as he's done, as soon as he drops the mic on the kids, he comes walking back to the boys' dressing room because it was in the gymnasium, and I'm back there. He's like, "Hey, brother, you guys got another joint?" Like, he just told his kids not to smoke weed, and he's asking me if I got a joint. And so that night, we worked the match. Everything was okay. The cop, Butterbean kind of like smartened him up or whatever. And then we worked out with him in the ring a little bit before the show, so he was fine. He didn't have nothing to do anyway except a couple clotheslines and a pinfall, and that's it.
Right.
We kept him out of the match mostly, and they cut out. This is the thing that pissed me off though, is they cut out all my offense on Butterbean where I was kicking his ass. And they cut out the part where after I lose the match, my brother gets in the ring and Bruce punches him. My brother takes a bump and sells for him, and then he chops his hair off with the fucking barber shears, the edge clippers, whatever the fuck. And my brother's not a worker. He's never worked a match in his life. He had long hair because he's a metal guy, and they're like, "Dude, we gotta chop your hair off." It was a rib, actually, is what it was to him to cut his hair. But he did it, man. He did it like a champ, man. He took a good bump for him, man. He sold for him. You fucking let him cut his hair, dude. He did a good fucking job, man. And then they didn't even air shit on TV. But my brother can say he worked with Brutus and Barber Beefcake, and he's not even a fucking wrestler. He's not even in the business.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You got to Butterbean. He's a veteran. I mean, with what he's done in wrestling, and then you got Brutus Barber Beefcake. I mean, how awesome is that?
Yeah, it was pretty dope. Because when he called me for the show, he was like, "Hey man, who do you want to tag with? Brutus the Barber Beefcake or Heidenreich?"
Oh, okay.
I was like, "Man, who do you think I want to tag with, dude? Brutus the Barber Beefcake, come on now."
Hell yeah.
What, am I supposed to pretend I'm one of the Road Warriors if I tag with Heidenreich? Road Warrior asshole.
That's
Road Warrior fat ass. And Road Warrior Heidenreich.
Heidenreich just never did come off. I don't know what it is. He didn't come off that right when he was up there in WWE. To me, I just looked at him. I'm like, yeah, this guy ain't right. It's just, I guess it's just how they booked him. I don't know how he was after his WWE stint. I don't know.
I've never met him, so I don't know. I heard he's kind of a weird dude, but
yeah,
I try to stay away from guys like that.
Yeah.
Not just kidding.
Damn.
No, I'm just fucking with you, man.
Oh, I know.
You got any other questions about anything, man? Like, I don't know how much you know about me. I mean, shit, I don't expect you to know anything.
Well, I got some more stuff here. I love this. I love talking with you and just hearing about you over in Japan and South Korea, and it's good shit, man. I love it. Now,
let me tell you this funny story in Japan, man. I was talking to my sensei about this wrestling promoter that he and I both don't like.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Nakamura, and his name's Yoshiyuki Nakamura. He was the president of 01. And my sensei used to work in the front office with him at 01 under Hashimoto's original 01. And so when I lobbied to come work in Japan, Nakamura was talking shit about me. Like, you're too fat. You need this. You need a lot of things. And because my sensei hates that guy, he's like, he saw that when he's talking shit on the pro res Facebook groups. He's like, I'm gonna help this dude, and so he helped me get booked out there. He saw the tape and he's like, "Nah, dude, this dude's money. Like, let's bring him in." And so I'm chilling at my sensei's house, and we're talking about this guy, and he's telling me all these fucked up stories about this dude, and I'm just like, "Wow, what a cocksucker!" And he goes, "Cocksucker, cocksucker, you know cocksucker-san?" Like, "Cocksucker-san, the fuck you talking about, bruh?" He's like, "Cocksucker-san, wow, full contact karate magazine no editor desu." Means he's the editor of the Full Contact Karate magazine. Motherfucker's name's Mr. Kakusaka. Kakusaka-san.
Did you?
I told him, I was like, I told him what cocksucker is, and he wrote it on a piece of paper and taped it to his wall right from his, like, where his computer monitor is, so he'll always see it. He wrote the word cocksucker in English on a piece of paper, and he taped it on there so he can study it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. Me and him were laughing like a couple of retards for like hours about that shit. Cocksucker-san. Cocksucker-san. You know cocksucker-san? Cocksucker-san, what the fuck are you talking about, bro?
Oh, shit.
This motherfucker's name's Cocksucker-san.
Cocksuckers.
Mr. Cocksucker.
Damn, that's great. Did rib?
It's phonetically the same. How they say the word cocksucker, it's phonetically the same as how they say cocksucker.
That's crazy. Cocksucker. I like some creamy young some guy. Creamy young some guy.
some young guy. That would be
Wayne's World 2.
Korean.
Yeah. Oh, Korean. No.
But
ribbing. Ribbing.
Oh yeah. Of
yeah.
course.
Yeah. Tell me which one of your favorite ribs you've done on someone. What's one of your favorites there?
One I've done on someone? Shit.
Yeah. You've done some ribbing.
I've done some shit. I've done some ribs that if I told them on here, I'd probably get arrested. Like,
oh shit. You don't want that.
Like, don't
want that. It's just anything that
there's a statute of limitation on this shit. It's a really long time.
Damn. So you've done some crazy shit with on some ribs then.
Yeah, well, people's ribbed me, man. I've never been a big ribber. If I rib people, it's more verbally, like I'm fucking with them or something. You know what I mean? Because I have like a witty sense of humor, and I joke about shit and fuck with people like that. But I don't actually like shit in people's bags or nothing like that. But,
yeah.
I tell you some ribs that were pulled on me, man. The first time I worked with Bull Buchanan, I threw him over the top rope in a battle royal and eliminated him the hard way because he didn't know I was coming to eliminate him. I just picked him up and dumped his ass over the top rope. And because I did that, he went to the fucking dressing room and put zip ties on my fucking bag. He zip tied him to the bench in the locker room. And he zip tied the fucking locks, and he zip tied the zippers to where I couldn't open the shit. He fucking zip tied the fuck out of it, dude.
Oh shit!
I still can't prove it was him, but I know it was fucking him because I was still in the battle royal, and when I came back from the battle royal, my shit was fucked up like that.
God.
So I know he did it. Had to have been him because I fucking dumped his ass over the top rope hard way. So he probably fucking.
I've never heard of anything like that. It's pretty damn creative.
So I think he did that, man. Seriously.
That's pretty damn creative.
And then, the next time we worked, dude, he fucked my shit up. I was pissed because I thought I broke my fucking leg after I went over the top rope. The edge of the ring didn't have any padding over it, so I just busted the side of my leg on the fucking the metal edge of the ring. I come limping back there, and I seen that shit. I was like, man, who fucking did this? I swear to God, if I find out who fucking did this, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of him. And I was pissed, and nobody would tell me who did it. Everybody was taping me left and right, man.
That's crazy.
I was so mad. The only reason I was mad because I was injured. Like I busted my leg, and I come hobbling back there and seen that shit. I was like, "Who the fuck did this?" It was crazy, man. That was funny.
That's great.
And then this one guy, he pissed in my fucking. I had a 2-liter bottle of Coca-Cola that I was drinking, and he fucking pissed in it. And when I drank, I was like, "Motherfucker, you piss in my shit!" and then when I was first my second year in the business, I was green as fuck, man. And this dude, I'm not gonna mention him by name because I don't want to make him any bigger.
Yeah.
But I had a problem with this guy, and he kept, stiffing me every match and picking on me and beating me up and beating the hell out of me every fucking time I worked him, and I was just taking it, man. I didn't bitch about it or nothing. I just did my job, come back there. But he was like basically bullying me in the ring because I was young and I was green and I was still learning, and so this older wrestler seen what's going on, and this guy, he really liked me, like the older wrestler. Like the older wrestlers really liked me for some reason, and so he pissed in the motherfucker's spray bottle before his match. Like on a night he wasn't working with me, he was working with somebody else. He was like, "Hey, watch this," and he pissed in this dude's spray bottle. This motherfucker comes back and he sprayed himself down with the shit, right? And everybody's watching. Everybody knows Bull Horton's pissing this guy's fucking spray bottle. And he's spraying himself down with it, and everybody's trying not to giggle and shit. And he's looking around like, "Fuck you guys laughing at?" And everybody's like trying to hold it in, and then he's just like shrugging his shoulder like, whatever. And he opens his mouth and he sprays his fucking mouth with the spray bottle. That's the best rib I was in on, man.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and when he sprayed his mouth, nobody could hold it in anymore. Everybody was laughing at his dumbass, and he still didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Oh shit!
He had no fucking idea.
I think that's the best. That's the best one I've heard of, man. Damn.
Yeah, man. Then this dude named TC Carnage, one time he walks up to me, he's like, "Hey man, let me show you how to do this hold." And I was like, "All right." So I give him my arm, my left arm, and he's like put me in like a wrist lock, and then he like punches me dead in the nuts.
Oh God.
No. And I was like, "Man, what the fuck, bro?" He's like, he said, you wanna I remember what he said now. He goes, "Hey, you wanna learn the most dangerous hold in the world?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, man." And I give him my arm to show me. He's like, "Let me see your arm." And he like twists my wrist, and then he punched me in the nuts. I was like, "Cocksucker." So like the next week, like I wait for a couple weeks or something, and then I walk up to him and I said, "Do you know what the capital of Thailand is?" And he goes, "Nah." I said, "Bangkok," and I busted him right in the fucking nuts.
You got him back, man. You got him back. That's great.
And Everett will see. The whole dressing room saw because when he did it to me, and I waited till the whole dressing room would see when I did it to him. And that's when the old dudes started liking me. It was like they're like, "Yeah, this dude's got fucking balls." So And we're like these dudes named Brett, Christopher, and Mr. Big. They're a tag team. They're like, dude, you have what it takes. Like where people are beating you and beating you and beating you and beating you, and you just keep coming back. It's like, stick with this shit. Don't give up on it. Like you really have what it takes. So I took that to heart, man, and that's how I made it as far as I did. I was never supposed to make it this far, dude. I was never trained.
No?
I was just a glorified yard tard, bro. Yeah, starting out until like the older guys liked me and started, bringing me under their wing and teaching me stuff. But I was never like formally trained like the old school way, like I was supposed to be.
Right.
Until I went to Japan, I started training with them motherfuckers in their training camps and stuff. And
I've heard their training camps, man, are that's some shit is serious. I think it was Finn Balor. Yeah. I was watching a thing on Finn Balor, and he was talking about it and stuff. That's real. It's almost like a religion. It is. And
oh yeah. Well, I go over there and I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm hurt. I got an injury. I can't work out today. Like, and I'll just try to find a way to get out of this shit, Because I don't. There's just some shit I don't need to do. I don't need to do 1,000 fucking squats. Like, come on now. I'm not a fucking young boy. Like, I was in my 30s when I'm over there training with these motherfuckers, and they got young dudes like 18, 19, 20. And I'm like, yeah, I think this shit's for you guys. Fuck that.
Yeah. Damn. But
I did do it though. Like I did train with them, and yeah, it was fun, man. I love my time in Japan. Was like the best time of my life, bro. Like,
it's amazing, man. No one. You experience something, and you actually experience something that a lot of people don't get to experience. Go to another part of on the other side of the world there and experience that culture, experience what a sport, a profession that you enjoyed growing up, that you've got into, and you get to do it over there, and people love you from seeing you, and it don't get any better than that. And then with your successful hip hop rap career, man, I mean, damn it. And then of course on top of that, you've been in TV before. You've had appearances in on television, man. I mean, you were, when I was looking at you were on Hawaii 5-0 season 5 episode 15. You played what was tell me about that there. And I did watch Jerry Springer's clip, but tell me about the whole Hawaii 5-0 appearance.
Well, I've been trying to I did a movie in Hawaii for a little fight scene where I played like a club bouncer, and there's like a shootout going on, and it's a martial arts. The guy that's directing, his name's Ron Yuan. He's gonna be in the new Mulan movie. This guy's been acting and directing stuff for like 30 years. He was like in all those old, you remember Don the Dragon Wilson, like Blood Fist and Ring of Fire and all that. He was in all that shit.
Yeah.
So I worked a fight scene with this guy, and I still haven't seen it. The movie I don't think ever came out, but they had some pretty big stars attached to it. One of the dudes from Hawaii 5-0 was in it too. Anyway, so I did that movie, but the first movie I ever did was a Japanese horror movie in Japan. I did a cameo in it where they actually put me in the credits, like on the DVD box and everything, to help sell the motherfucker. It was crazy. And so that was my first couple things of acting, and then I was like, well, shit, I might as well try to get on like Hawaii 5-0 or one of the bigger productions. So I went to the agency that books all the extras, and I said, look, I'll work as an extra, I'll work as whatever you guys need me to do, I'll do it. And they're like, all right, we'll call you. So they called me, and they were like, we got something for you. We want to we're doing a scene where we got New Year's Eve parade, and we want you to be in one of the New Year's Eve partiers. And I was like, okay. So we're shooting this, like, before we even go to shoot the shit, like, we're standing in this lot with all these trailers and shit, waiting in line with our vouchers so we can get our money.
Mm-hmm.
And I see fucking Scott Conn from Ready to Rumble walking, and then fucking, guess who's walking right beside him? Fucking RoboCop, Peter Weller.
No way.
It's like directing simultaneously. He was directing another episode, and yeah, so I get this all RoboCop and fucking the dude from Ready to Rumble. But I didn't say shit to him, and I just stood in line, did my voucher, and then when we shot the scene, it was like a Chinese New Year parade and stuff, and they do a big shot of the street where you could see the people in the parade with the dragon and stuff, and then I was the dude with the blonde hair right beside the guy with the walk, cooking on the walk. I was the guy with the bleached blonde hair, like dancing like a fool. I did that on purpose so that I would stand out to where, like, if I'm trying to show one of my family members something that's me, they'll be able to see me easier by, like, dancing around like I was doing some Chris Farley shit, bro. It was crazy.
That's
and they only use like 2 or 3 seconds of it. You know, you only get to see me for like 2 fucking seconds. And then they filmed some other stuff with me where this guy, he's escaping, somebody's trying to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had me do some shit where, like, I'm walking in front of him and he bumps into me and shit, and they didn't even use it, you know. But
yeah,
but they did use the part where I was dancing like a fool. so on that episode, you can actually only see me for like 2 or 3 seconds, but I got paid like pretty good money to do that, and it was like my first legit like studio check. You know what I'm saying? It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. I'm gonna have to go look at that there. And I did watch that clip of Jerry Springer. When I seen that it said Jerry Springer, I said, no way. I gotta check this out. I gotta check this out, because when I was in high school at the hype of Jerry Springer there, 97, 98, I was a senior in high school, so I remember when it was like Jerry was like at the top there, at the peak of his popularity. And when I seen that there, I was looking at your stuff there, and I saw the clip, and I was like, damn, that was, you were a little bit younger back then there, but the whole setup with Rampage Wrestling, Championship Wrestling there, with the women there. Yeah. Tell me about that there.
Yeah. Oh my god!
Or do you rather not talk about it?
No, I don't mind talking about it.
Okay.
So this guy Reese, who he's a referee, and he's the one that drove me on all the shows, like younger, like when I was like starting out, like 2, 3, around the time I told you about the spray bottle incident.
Yeah.
This time me and him were riding around, and so me and him were longtime friends. I knew him when I was a kid watching indie shows. He was refereeing those shows. So
right.
So Reese and we decided we're gonna promote wrestling, and we booked a show, and we had Buff Bagwell in the main event. We had Tommy Rich and Jimmy Golden and a couple other guys, and so I had the task of training 2 women to learn how to work, and they were so fucking egotistical. It was insane. Well, the buff one, she was cool when she was by herself.
Yeah.
But when she was with the redhead, though, dude, it was insane. It was crazy how fucking big-headed these chicks were. Because I got them booked on Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
I called them up. I told them the deal. I made the shit happen for them. And, like, they just treated me like a fucking jabroni the whole time. Like, they wouldn't listen to me. They wouldn't... So anyway, we do the show and everything's all good, but But like them chicks, man, they were really, 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 really something to deal with. Like I said, the muscular one, she was pretty cool when she was alone, but like that redhead one, she was real manipulative. She would like be calling me up like, Kru, I need you to get me a championship belt. Do not say no to me. Do not say no to me. I'm like, Jesus Christ, who am I dealing with here? Okay, I'll go to Kmart and get you a fucking little plastic foam WWF belt for $12. How's that? Like, I don't know what you're asking me for. I'm not fucking buying no title belts for you.
Right.
No, like, we had like these generic belts that this other promoter let us borrow, and you know, like they didn't have no letter, like alphabet, like governing body, letters like WWE or no shit, you know, on it. It just said women's champion on it or whatever, right? So the other guy, Reese, he would, you know, get these belts from the other promoters he knew, and then she's calling me up about the shit. Like, I need a belt. I'm going on a TV. I forget what she said. She had something. She was going to do some appearance or something on some shit, and she wanted to go promote herself, and felt like she needed a title belt. And I was like, you know, you don't need a title belt to promote yourself. Yeah. You just go and talk about it and just be cool, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, that's just the kind of shit I had to deal with, man. Like,
yeah.
Trying to tell me what the fucking business is.
Damn. I watched that shit was crazy there with the Jello.
Yeah, and the chick that won, she didn't even fucking acknowledge me like after she won the match. Like she was supposed to like act like she was happy that I'm her trainer and like give me a high five or some shit, you know, like and she didn't even do it. Like it was all about them, you know what I mean? Like for them, they were in it for the wrong reasons. Like the Rebecca, the redheaded one, she wanted to fucking be with Edge. Like that was her goal. She's gonna sleep her way to Edge or whatever, or fucking whatever the fuck. Like, damn. And then the muscle bound one, she was just a mom doing her thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was swole. She looked good. She was pretty in the face when you meet her in person. And so she was just trying to, you know, hey, let me try to capitalize on this opportunity type of thing. But when she got around the other one, like, it was just like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Double fucking trouble.
It's kind of like I don't know how people could be like that sometimes when they're okay, and then when another person is in their environment, then it's like they go all haywire and they just they change. I don't get that sometimes with people. I don't get that.
Oh, neither, man. Like, I've never been a big egotistical person, man. That's probably why I'm not like at the top of the industry or whatever, because like I don't take myself too seriously, man. You know, I'm just a regular dude that just happens to have a lot of talent and enjoys, you know, entertaining people. That's all. I mean,
right.
But these other dudes, they got like, I got more talent in the head of my dick than they do their whole body, and they think they're the shit. It's just like, okay. If it works for you, that's fine, buddy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, like I said earlier, look what you've accomplished. No one's what you've accomplished there. No one's actually have what they may have dreamed it, and I think I will. You did it. You did it. You set out, and you're like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, and dude.
And I did it, man.
You did it.
I banged the hell out of all them Japanese chicks.
When I saw your picture, your header there, and I saw the Japanese women, and I was like, Yeah, he's doing good.
Dude, there was a French girl. There was a bro. That picture, the person who took that picture was the person that was serving us at that pizza place, dude. I was rolling 5 deep with 5 hot 19-year-old chicks in Japan.
Damn.
They're all 5 of them were 19 years old.
Jeez.
One of them was from France. 3 of them and the rest of them were for Japan. One of them was half black and half Japanese, and she's really pretty too. I really love that. That girl's face was cute. And they were so cool and chill and hung out with me, and they trusted me, and then I roofied them, and then
oh man, that's a little bit too much there. Too much information.
I'm just kidding, dude. I'm just kidding.
I know.
No, I'd say it's Bill Cosby would have got away with it if he was in Japan. I'm just kidding. I was pulling a fucking dynamite kid on all these bitches.
Would you like to have my pudding pop?
Nah, man, I'm just joking about that stuff. I actually didn't touch any of those girls in a sexual way. Those 5 hotties that was in that picture with me, I didn't touch none of them because they were too young for me.
Right.
Like at the time that picture was taken, I think I was like 33 and they were like 19. I'm like 33. I was 33 or 34 and they're like 19. So I was like 14, 15 years older than them. So like back when I was rubbing one out to Sonny in Raw magazine, that's about the time they were born.
God dang. Damn. You seen what happened to her? God, what the hell, man? I feel bad for her, man. What's happened?
She's a real sweet lady in person. Like, I met her in 2011. I worked with her at the AWE shit or whatever, and she asked me to help her change her shoes, and I helped her change her shoes and got to see them titties, and she was really nice to me. And I didn't see her titties, like she didn't show me her titties. I just looked at them, because they're just kind of there, popping out at me.
Yeah.
Like one of them was trying to punch me in the fucking lip, bro. It was crazy.
Give you a fat lip there.
Yeah. But Miss Tammy is a real sweet lady in person, man. She really is. Like,
yeah.
Real.
I feel it's just like what happened with everything, it's just different seeing her now and then looking back, just how she was and where she ended up at. It's just wow.
I'd still bang her. I'd dick that chick down, bro. Eat it up to heat it up, then beat it up to skate it up.
Damn, that's nuts. But wow.
Yeah, I think Vince McMahon would love me if he knew me. I'm serious, dude. That guy, he would probably love my ass if he really knew me for real, and like he'd be like, he would probably fucking use me if he knew me, like as a person, on a personal level. If he knew me, he'd be like, yeah, I'll get something out of this kid.
Hopefully, they don't put you in a ridiculous role. But like what John Moxley said on Chris Jericho, you want me to walk out there and eat this hot dog? I'll make it look like the best hot dog I've ate. Whatever you want.
Yeah. Hey, it's just kind of how it is, man. When somebody asks you to do something, you just got to kind of do it, like. Right. When it comes to like the final decision, whoever makes the final decisions, you just got to kind of, unless you want to lose your job, or unless you're Shawn Michaels and got blown by somebody and whatever, and they got dirt on you. And no, I'm just kidding. I don't know if that's true about Shawn Michaels.
Sean, I liked Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart's rivalry. I liked that. I liked how it was what they went through, and with a little bit of the realism behind it too on both parts there. But I mean, he's at the performance center. He's helping people. He's trainer, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, he's passing that on there.
I would love to learn from that guy, man. Like Shawn Michaels was the fucking man, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was doing it like that at the time. He was doing it like that.
Yeah. He was really good. I was listening to a story that Jericho was talking about. I believe it was on his podcast, and he was talking about when he was doing that. I think it was in 2009. Remember that Chris Jericho and Shawn Michaels rivalry they had there in 2009, where Jericho hit his wife and everything. It was for the world title. And I remember that. Yeah, that right there. There was, when they were having a match there, Jericho during that middle of the match there, where they would get both knocked out, and then Jericho would get back up again. And when they were both knocked out there, Jericho tells Shawn, "I'm getting up." He says, "No." He said, "I'm going to get up." "No, wait for it." And he's like, "Wait for what?" He's like, "We got to get up." He's like, "No, wait for it." And then you hear the crowd, and then he was like, "Get up when I tell you." And then as soon as the crowd started roaring, he said, "Get up." And they both got up and went at it. And the crowd, he said, and he learned stuff like that. How to, you listen to the crowd, man. You listen to the crowd. You do a pretty good job, man, listening to the crowd there. I again, like I said, you're out there talking shit and stuff, and someone in the crowd yells something, and you're like, "Shut up!" And you're like, "Fuck you!" And I just love it, man. You do that. You listen to the crowd and you give it back to them, and your opponent.
The audience is the core component of what we do, man.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of these dudes, man, when I was younger, I used to do all kind of acrobatic shit, like lion salts and moonsaults and corkscrews and head scissors and all kind of weird shit, man. I was doing all that, trying to get over, like, busting my ass, doing unnecessary high spots and stuff. And when I started getting older and getting beat down, started getting, like, to where I had to change my style a little bit, man, less is more, bro. Like, I worked some shit, like me and this Japanese dude named Umezawa, we were working up in Hokkaido together, and it was like 3 feet of fucking snow outside.
Damn.
And we had a packed house, about 500 people in this small building. And he was like, "Dude, my back's fucked up." I was like, "Yeah, mine is too." And he's like, "My shoulder's fucked up." I was like, "Yeah, my knee's fucked up." So he's like, "Hey, man, fuck it. Just beat the fuck out of me." And I said, "All right, well, how about this, bro? We'll do this. We'll just keep it Shakespeare up in this bitch. Just do some like Hulk Hogan, fucking Andre the Giant shit, bro." And we just went out there, and I'll punch him, and he would, like, we would do this thing where we'd go all four corners around the ring, where I would hit him, and he would do like the Hulk Hogan spot where he's like, hulks up a little bit from every corner, and then he's getting pissed by the time on the fourth turnbuckle. When I hit him, he gets pissed, and then he fucking turns me around and he does the same shit to me all four corners of the ring. Right? We did like little simple stuff like that, man, and people went ape shit over that. It was insane, like how easy it was to manipulate the people.
Yeah.
Just by keeping it Shakespeare is what I learned from Bullet Bob Armstrong. The patriarch of the Armstrong family, the Road Dogg's dad. Like, I worked with him in 2008, and he liked working with me so much that he got me booked on the next in Georgia to work with him the next weekend, so his son could get a look at me and try to get me a job in TNA.
Yeah.
But Jeff Jarrett didn't want me because I was fat. So I've talked to Jeff Jarrett, and he was like, you can cut a promo and you can take a bump and you can do this and do that, but this is show business, and you gotta look a certain way. And I was like, all right, that's cool, man. And I was like, I'll just keep doing my thing in Japan. But because
damn.
But yeah, man. Like I've talked to fucking Ring of Honor. I've talked to TNA. I've reached out to everybody, dude, and everybody's hating on me, bro. So I just work in other countries. Like, you know, I'll just work where other motherfuckers can't go. They're
Exactly.
like, oh, you're not good enough to work for our shitty company, little indie company, glorified indie company. But oh, okay. Well, your guys aren't fucking working in Japan. None of them have ever. Like, I'll go. Like, there'll be companies that would act like I'm like some piece of shit, like nobody, like jobber, and not want to book me. And I'm like, dude, do you realize I just fucking got put over by the Great Sasuke in fucking Japan, dude? Like,
Yeah.
It's like, are you kidding me?
It just shows how much people do pay attention to what's going on in other countries overseas with wrestling, and then it shows who's paying attention, who's not paying attention.
Yeah, man. Well, a lot of American wrestling fans, they don't really know about me because a lot of the bigger companies in the U.S., they don't want to do business with me for whatever reason. They won't let me have a platform to show what I can do. Like the biggest company that did something with me was Insane Clown Posse's company, the Juggalo Championship Wrestling. They had me come at one of their. I went to one of their gathering of the Juggalos.
Yeah.
And worked like three matches, and they let me win every match except for the one where I worked with Sabu, and it was a weapons battle royal, and Sabu eliminated me. Oh, dude, I gotta tell you about that, man. That was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about that, because I seen that you were a part of that there. But yeah, tell me about that there. I like to hear about that.
So Sabu took a liking to me. Like I walked up to him at the backstage at the JCW event, and I was told that, hey, I'm working this weapons battle royal, and Sabu's coming out and he's going over. So I walk up to Sabu. I say, hey, nice to meet you, Sabu. My name's blah blah. I just introduced myself to him, and I said, so I heard we're going to be working together in this battle royal, and you're going over. I said, I don't want any of these no names eliminating me, so I want you to throw me out. And when I said that, he's like, all right, brother, I'll take care of you. And he took a liking to me, and like I bummed a cigarette off, and we smoked, and we talked, and we shot the shit. We were cool. We just kind of hung out and talked a little bit. And then when we went out to the ring, dude, this motherfucker comes out with a chair, and he's blasting these motherfuckers left and right, concussion city, like he's giving these motherfuckers brain damage. And then he just lightly kicks me in the gut a couple times, like light as a feather. He's like, out you go, and I went out the ring, and he picks that chair back up and starts busting these motherfuckers left and right again. I was like, god damn.
Damn. That's great. That's great. He took care of you, man. That's great, and that's amazing, man. That's amazing, Dad. So, damn, you smoked weed with Brutus Barber Beefcake. You worked with Butterbean, and you got thrown out of Battle Royal by Sabu. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah.
You're successful. You are successful.
I've worked a lot of legend wrestlers, man. I've worked with Buff Bagwell. He was fun to work with because he was one of the ones that would actually do shit with me. Like he's the one that actually got me my job working for Mike Jackson, because that show I told you, me and Reese, the referee guy, we ran a show and we booked Buff.
Yeah.
So he was sitting at his gimmick table watching my match. I jerked the curtain with the guy named Inhuman Fly. So the first match on the card. So he was sitting out there and he was happy and shit because, like, you know, everybody's friendly to him. So I was friendly to him. And he knew me because he had seen me like random places. Like when I was up in Ohio and he came through Ohio, he was asking me about where he could buy some pain pills. And I hooked him up with some weed. And then I also, you know, seen him around in the Southeast when he first got released by WWE and all that stuff. So then I hung out with him like the week before on a couple shows and hooked him up with some pain pills and oh yeah, dude, it's so funny. So I gave him this hydromorphone pill, bro. It's like dilaudid.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I don't know if I want any more of these, brother. It's not kicking like it's supposed to. And I was like, all right, man, well, I was like, you just wait. And then he goes out to the ring to cut a promo. He's like, back in WCW. Back in WCW. Like, he was all fucked up. And then he comes back and he's like, brother, you got any more of those? so he was, that's the good rapport I had with him when he was watching my match the next week at our show. Like, and he watched me work. It was the match with the Inhuman Fly. It's on YouTube. You could see Buff standing there, his big tan swole ass standing in the background with a towel on his shoulder, watching it, and or whatever the fuck. I don't remember what he has, but he was wearing a hat and stuff. You could see him standing back there. But he walked up to me and gave me a 5 when I was walking to the ring. Like shook my like he didn't think I was walking to the ring. He thought I was just walking around because I come through the front door instead of out of the dressing room. I came through the front door of the building. And he walks up to me and shakes my hand. And then I went in the ring and I fucking did my shit. And then we come backstage and he tells Mike, he's like, Mike, have you seen this guy work? Fucking phenomenal. It's like, you should book this guy. And so he got me my first job. He's like, I just got you your start, kid. So like my real start in the business. Like I'd already been in the business for 7 years. Yeah. But I wasn't making no money at the shit then. But he got me a job where I was actually making money at the shit.
Mm-hmm.
And working with him and
That's amazing, man. So
I think he really got me that job, so I'll be around to give him some pills. But
you were his big Papa Pump. I'm your hookup. Holla if you hear me.
No. Actually, I pissed him off because I had to cancel him once.
Did you?
He was booked in. The first show I did with Butterbean, the one I booked for this convention.
Yeah.
I had a budget of like $1,200, and then they changed it to $1,400 so I could book these 2 midget wrestlers. And Butterbean's backstage. He was looking at one of the midget wrestlers like, I could eat a midget. I was like, I bet you can, motherfucker. I've seen you eat fucking rack of ribs all by yourself.
God dang.
Well, anyway, so I had to. I had Buff booked on the show, but he was already booked on another show in another town, and I was like, man. And my budget was so small, I was like, I'm not even making no fucking money on this shit.
Right.
And then Butterbean had expressed his interest in, because I've been talking to him on at the time MySpace, and we were talking about working together, and he invited me to his house to come talk with him. And at the time I had a newborn son. And me and my son's mom and my son all went to his house and hung out. So he was like, "What are you trying to do with this show?" I was like, "Well, they gave me a budget of $1,400 to run a show to raise money for the sick child." And he's like, "How much money are you making?" I was like, "Nothing." He's like, "What?" He's like, "Who'd you book? Where's all your money going to?" I was like, "Well, $600 of it's going to Buff Bagwell. X amount's going to this, X amount's going to that." And I just showed him the whole budget. He was like, "I'll tell you what, dude, you canceled Bagwell and you booked me. Just pay me $300 and you keep $300. And the people at the convention that gave me the budget, they wanted Butterbean more than they wanted Buff Bagwell anyway. So basically they're the ones that asked me to get Butterbean instead of Buff. So somebody out there did. I don't remember who it was though. But anyway, so yeah, I ended up canceling Buff, and Buff was pissed at me for it, and so I told him, well, I'll just give you $100 the next time I see you. And I haven't seen him ever since.
Well, you're over on the other side of the world, man. How could he see you?
Yeah, man. Well, Buff's a good dude, man. He's a really, really funny guy, really cool dude. I really enjoyed working with him. Like, he actually let me do some shit, you know, when I had my match with him. We had a really good match, dude. The one on YouTube, like, that's the one where I was wearing a black mask. And actually, part of the match is cut out. Like, the beginning of the first few spots of the match isn't even on that video.
Really?
That whole match from front to back was really a good match, man. Yeah, it just shows me, like, getting out of the ring from taking his shit, you know? Like, right. First he would, like, he was doing all the stuff that you see me doing him, hip tossing him and all that shit. He was doing that to me first.
Right.
And then I would do it to him, and then I would mock his Buff, like, thing where he, you know, that thing he does where he kind of struts and then gets down on his knee and does the double bicep pose. But I was doing it at the wrong, my timing was off because he wanted me to wait until after he's done selling, he's looking up at me, and then I do it. But the way I was thinking about it was like, I want to do it behind this motherfucker's back to these fans. To where it looks like it's some cowardly shit. Like, I'm making fun of this motherfucker behind his back. That's what I was trying to do. But he, in his psychology, he wanted me to wait till he turns around and looks at me, and then I'm going to do and then I do the bicep pose, and then he can react to it, right?
Yeah.
But at the time, I was still kind of green, and I didn't understand what he was thinking. I was just like, I'm gonna body slam this motherfucker, and then while he's selling, I'm gonna do his pose. And while he's not looking, like, that's what I was thinking he wanted me to do. But
I've had
me and him went over.
I had on a few episodes back, I had Militant Mark Magnum on, and he worked with Buff, and he almost just about like you said there, some hip tosses, and then he imitated Buff, and then Buff rolled over and looked at him, and then Buff gets up and does it, and then does the same thing again, but then Mark goes down, and then he does it, and the crowd pops louder for Buff doing it, and not as they booed Mark when he first did it. So that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. And, well, like, he let me choke slam him and shit, dude. Like, he don't let motherfuckers just do that to him. You know what I mean? He actually gave me some good offense. And he was like, don't over-rotate me, brother. Like, I was like, what if, I said, because I had this idea I was like, dude, what if we do a spot where the ref gets bumped? And I choke slam you, and I cover you, and I've got you beat, but the referee's knocked out. Or I said, what if we do bump the ref, and you put me in the double underhook DDT, and you pin me, and you got me beat, and then but the ref's knocked out, and you go to wake him up, but I choke slam you, and then I got you beat. But the referee's still not recovered, so I get up and smack him around to wake him up, and then you hit some other shit on me. It's like, yeah, that's a good idea. This is gonna be a good match. It's like, just don't over-rotate me, because he was worried I was gonna, like,
over-rotate me.
Yeah, he's like, don't over-rotate me. He was really paranoid that I was gonna fuck him up, like, because he had neck problems, you know what I mean? So the way he was working matches with people was the same match every fucking show. Like, he was telling the dudes the same thing, the same easy shit, that he was basically working the same fucking match with everybody, dude. Right. Except me. I'm the only dude that he was like, hey, yeah, man, at the time anyway, I don't know, he probably changed the way he worked after a while, but at that time, man, he wasn't letting people fucking do choke slams and shit on him.
Well, when he faced Mark Magnum in the video, it's up on Mark Magnum's YouTube channel there with his match just there he has, and when that match he had with Buff there, Mark does a blockbuster, so Mark did it on Buff. When I watched this before I interviewed Mark, I was like, dude, he did the blockbuster on Buff. So when I had him on, I asked him about that. What happened was when he was backstage there, when he was in the back there, someone wanted to mention the Buff. It's like, oh yeah, Mark does a blockbuster, and he's like, no, don't tell him that, And someone said, hey, he can do a blockbuster too. And Buff turns around and is like, oh, you can? He's like, yeah. He goes, yeah, hit it on me in the match. And so he was like, okay. So I thought that was pretty.
You know why? You know why? You know why he did that? He probably like, if he could do it, that means I don't have to do it.
Damn, that's crazy. But
because he was at a point where he wasn't doing it, man. Like
because of his neck, like you
that's
said.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah. But he did it for me though. Like as the finish on me.
Yeah.
Like before, he was just doing that double arm DDT to people for the finish.
Right.
For the longest time, he wasn't even blockbustering nobody.
Right.
And then like, but with me, he took a choke slam and he gave me the blockbuster, dude. And for that, I'll always be grateful to him for trusting me that much and liking me that much to actually give me something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well,
give me a good match.
Exactly. That's if you get in there and you can work with someone, they can work with you. You can work with them, and you can put on an entertaining match for people. That's all good, ain't it?
Oh yeah, man. Because let's be honest. I mean, Buff was my age now when I worked him. He was about 37. I'm 37 now, so he was 37 when I worked him. He was still in his prime.
Right.
When I worked with him, he was still Buff. He actually looked better than he did when he was on TV when I wrestled him.
Right.
In my opinion, he did anyway. I mean, but I mean, for that guy to like help me get a job and then fucking work with me and give me something, and then I over some shit where I had to cancel a booking on him, like. Things go sour. That's kind of unfortunate, you know what I mean? Like, if I had a chance, man, I'll talk to him and send him $100. That's probably what I'll end up doing.
Yeah, I mean, business is business, but yeah, I mean, you can do that. You could possibly do that right there. Just send that to him. Say, hey, sorry, but here you go. Yeah,
that's probably what I'll do. They probably don't even remember me. It's been so long. What are you doing, you dumbass cat? My cat is like crawling in a suitcase. He's inside a fucking suitcase, like with the lid closed.
That's crazy. Well, if your cat is inside a suitcase, that means he's probably ready to go somewhere, and You
think he's pissing in there?
I don't know.
Get out of there, you little cocksucker.
Cocksucker.
You want to work or you want to shoot, bitch? I'll make you fucking sell.
Damn. With that right there, we'll just leave it. We'll leave everything. We'll leave it like that right now. I mean, I want to thank you for coming on.
Oh, no problem, buddy.
And talking.
Well, I didn't get to tell everything. But, it's all good, bro.
But you know what? That means you can come back and we can always talk more.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. Hey, if anybody's listening to this, if anybody actually gives a shit about me, like if just one person who didn't know about me knows about me and actually like takes the time to look at my body work and likes what I do, I just want to say thank you in advance. And I've got like albums and stuff out that you can listen to, and they're on YouTube. I mean, you can buy them if you want to support me, but you can also listen to them on YouTube for free. So I'm just grateful for any fan of my work or whatever. I don't like calling them fans. I like calling them my supporters. Kind of like, kind of like customers, you know what I'm saying? Because like people are just people, man, and I don't put myself on a pedestal or anything like that. You know what I mean? I treat everybody good, you know what I mean? And so anybody that appreciates my work, I just want to say thank you, and God bless you guys, and I hope that everybody's not suffering too bad from what we're going through with the coronavirus and all that shit. I'm about to smoke a acid-laced coronavirus joint, dude. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Nah.
That's a new one, man. I'm going to have to remember that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I just be saying random dumb shit just to try to make people laugh, I'm an entertainer, man. I love entertaining people, whether it's being goofy, whether it's like making jokes, whether it's making sexual innuendos to people that are just like, what the? Like, I just like making people laugh. It could be like the janitor is mopping the floor and he hears me say some goofy shit to somebody and he thinks it's funny. Like, right. I just like entertaining people, just making people's day better and making them smile, making them laugh, making them happy. That's what I believe I was brought on earth to do for people.
Mm-hmm. Well, your body work shows it, and everything that on your YouTube channel there. You have a lot of content, so I've not even really got through a lot of the content, and I'm gonna be sure to go back through there and look at some more stuff there on your channel.
You know what, dude? I actually went through my channel and was looking at stuff. I was like, dude, I did all this shit. Are you kidding me? Like, this stuff I forgot about. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow. And I'm laughing at my own. Dude, you brought me on here to do the Masked Wrestler shit, bro. We never even got to that.
The Masked Wrestler? You're going to let the cat out of the bag? You're gonna let
yeah, man.
Well, here's what we'll do. Go ahead and close out my show with it, and then I'll say the plugs, and then you can take it home there.
All right. So for you guys that don't know, like, I kind of do some like Andy Kaufman, Tony Clifton shit with this gimmick I do called the Masked Wrestler, where like I pretend I'm a Southern wrestler talking shit about people. And the first one I ever did, I was talking shit about myself. And I was basically just making fun of, like, rednecks and whatever, like, talking smack about me. And then I started getting requests to do Masked Wrestler shit for people. So, like custom promos and shit for people. So I'm going to do a little closing promo on this Everett Lee show in the Masked Wrestler.
All right.
I'm going to put my mask on. Hey, if you listen to this podcast, this here's a Masked Wrestler, and you just got smacked in the ear with the head of my dick. Because this podcast, I don't do these little old podcasts now. I just did it for Everett Lee because his podcast is dope. And if you don't think so, you can go fuck yourself. You can drink a bottle of horse piss for all I give a fuck. But I will say this. If you did happen to tune in, thank you very much. And as my idol, the famous best manager in the world, Jim Cornette, would say, thank you, fuck you, goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Masked Wrestler makes his appearance on the Everett Lee Show. And Man Kru, I want to thank you so much for coming on here again. And where can people find you at on social media?
I got Facebook. I got Twitter. I'm not a big social media person. My Instagram, I'm barely post on it, but I got like almost 2,000 followers on it or whatever. But I'm on Instagram. I got a YouTube channel. There's other YouTube channels dedicated to me that people have, and if you ever want to look up the Masked Wrestler promos, it's spelled with no W. It's just RASSLER, and I hope you get a kick out of it. Just know that, like, it's just me repeating stuff I've heard people say and just making fun of redneck people, you know, like. And not to say I love rednecks. I'm lived in Alabama for a long time. I just think it's a funny character, and I enjoy doing it. So if you like that, I would be very elated if you would check those out and get a laugh out of it. Or if you want to watch my matches on YouTube or listen to my music or whatever, I'm easy to find. All you gotta do is type ONE space MAN space KRU in any search box, and my stuff will pop up. And I'm easy to find. I'm easy to access. Anybody can get a hold of me anytime. Anybody can send me a message anytime. I respond to everybody. So I'm not like one of them douchebags that like ignores people or nothing. Like, you can hit me up if you want to. I just want to thank everybody who's ever supported me, everybody who's ever blessed me, everybody who's ever shown me kindness, everybody who's ever given me an opportunity. And thank you, Everett Lee, for having me on your show. This is a blessing. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime, man. Anytime. We still got quite a bit to talk about next time you come back, because I feel like we've only got to talk about a little, but there's a whole lot more, and we'll talk about more next time when you come back on.
All right, man. Cool. Maybe I won't be so stoned next time. Maybe I'll be more stoned. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm going to throw my closing plugs out, and then we're going to end this show here. So I want to go ahead and mention Podcast City Network, your top source for independent podcasting. Head over to podcastcity.net for shows such as The Everett Lee Show, Deathmatch Wrestle Podcast, Wrestle Podcast, Imaginary with Scott and Todd, Final Score, Best Friend Podcast Show, and much, much more on podcastcity.net. Follow them on Facebook, Podcast City Network. Give them a thumbs up. Send them a tweet over on Twitter at PodcastCityNet, and subscribe to their YouTube channel and Twitch channel over on Podcast City Network. Everett Lee Show, give me a thumbs up here on my Facebook page, which I go live on from time to time. Everett Lee Show, Facebook. At the Everett_Lee over on Twitter. Send me a tweet over there. Instagram, Everett Lee Show, and audio portions of this podcast, previous release podcast. Head over to Everett Lee Show on YouTube, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and Podbean. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you again next time for another episode of The Everett Lee Show.